Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel, and this short video we're going to discuss the current situation in Gaza. The Israeli forces continue their counter-terrorist operation, and they're attacking and bombing the entire Gaza, and also they're making some clearing operations in the Western Bank, trying to find and discover and recognize and destroy the Palestinian forces. The Palestinian forces from their side continue sending, not Palestinian, probably it's better to call them Hamas forces, continue sending the reconnaissance and sabotage teams in direction of Ashkelon, and the sources are saying that there are still very heavy clashes in the city by the name of Zikim. Obviously, the Israeli forces haven't managed to establish 100% control over the border, maybe 95%, 99%, but there are still 1, 2, 3% chances that the Palestinian forces, the Hamas forces, have possibilities to cross the wall and to start everything from the beginning by killing the civilians and also the Israeli soldiers and authorities. When talking about the northern flank, of course, the situation with Hezbollah is getting worse and worse every single day. Today we got more details, more updates about even clashes on the border. It's not something new. Obviously, this is the regular situation for this area when the Israelis can attack and bomb the southern part of Lebanon, trying to get and destroy the forces of Hezbollah. But when talking about the previous attempts, those were like the regular situation. But now we see that there is attempts and the goals to attack each other and to deal as much as possible damage. Furthermore, we got another very interesting video from the border between Lebanon and Israel. On this video we can see how Hezbollah forces managed to discover the Israelis armored vehicle, and as a result of attack, as a result of strike using the anti-tank missile, that armored vehicle was destroyed. Of course, this is nothing in comparison with the damage that Israeli are able to make against the Lebanon and Hezbollah forces, against the damage that Israeli deal every single day to the settlement and buildings in Gaza. But anyway, this is something like a pressure, the pressure that the Lebanon and Hezbollah forces are trying to make against Israel. And you know, of course, we condemn, Military Summary channel condemn any violence in the world, especially the violence against the Israeli civilians, against the civilians that were killed during those days, those terrible days, probably the most terrible days in Israel. Of course, we condemn the bombings, carpet bombings of city, of the buildings and civilian buildings in Gaza, obviously. But we're not talking about the situation. Just take a look at Lebanon and take a look at Hezbollah. Basically, and currently, this is the only power and force in the world who start doing at least anything to support Gaza and to support Hamas. Other leaders, other Muslim countries made just words like how to say, they just supported Gaza and people in Gaza just with words. And the only power in the world, Hezbollah, started at least some activity on the border. And we got a lot of updates that as a result of clashes along the border with Israel, even Israeli soldiers were killed, and of course the Hezbollah forces also were killed. Furthermore, we got an update that currently the Hezbollah forces and proxy Iranian forces continue concentration of their forces on this area along the Syrian border. Probably this is another attempt to create pressure. I'm not sure that pro-Iranian proxies are able to attack and to start movements in this area. They will and they can start if there are going to be some attacks from other directions. The Western press, the Western sources are saying that there is like a chance, there is a scenario when Israel can have like 5 front lines if everything goes according to the very bad scenario. According to information we have, by 11th of October, more than 1,300 people, Israeli people, were killed. More than 2,500 people were wounded, and so on. This almost the same numbers we have from Gaza, but we understand that there are a lot of buildings, a lot of territories were ruined as a result of carpet bombardments, so it's very difficult to calculate the losses below that people that's currently located below the ruins, under the ruins. Obviously there are hundreds of people under the ruins, and obviously we're going to know and find out the real numbers only after this conflict ends, and the question is whether this conflict is going to be ended on the territory of Gaza or maybe somewhere else. Very difficult question, but no matter the situation, the Israeli forces continue bombing and attacking Gaza, trying to reduce as much as possible checkpoints, fire positions, possible concentration of Hamas forces in this area. Furthermore, the sources are saying that Israeli forces use every single type of weapon they have, including thermobaric bombs, and you know that the Minister of Defense of Gaza of Israel told soldiers of Israel that there are going to be no problems for them, no crimes for them. The Israeli army can do whatever they like, can use whatever they like, method they like, and can use any type of weapon they have, just with one purpose: to destroy Hamas and basically to erase Hamas from the history book of the world. Furthermore, we got more updates about the port infrastructure. The Israeli forces continue destroying the port infrastructure of Gaza, trying to reduce the possibilities for Gaza forces, for Hamas forces, for supporting, supplying, because currently, as we know, most of the attacks that Hamas forces are able to do, they're making using the sea, so making some sea marines, sea operations, sea assault operations, and of course, if the Israelis wants to reduce this pipeline of attacks, so they need to destroy at least port infrastructure that Gaza currently have. We got the bombings all over the Gaza, and also we got some explosions from the city by the name of Rafah. This is the border detachment, this is the border area between Egypt and Gaza, and by these attacks the Israeli forces want to reduce the level of support of Gaza, because a lot of countries, including Egypt, Jordan and Iran and many other countries, also Venezuela, report and announced about some help that they're planning to send to Gaza, the medicine, food and so on. And the Israel, of course, established something like blockade, and they don't want anything to get inside of this territory. So that's why the Israeli forces are concentrated on the border, trying to reduce the level of support of Gaza. So this is the situation, but this is the situation that we can see: the explosions, we can see the movements of forces, the clashes, destroyed buildings and so on. But there is something below this or above this, and currently there are a very intensive negotiation process between the, let's say, the neighbors of Israel. We're talking about Egypt, Lebanon, Palestine, of course, Syria, Jordan, Iran, Russia, and so on. And there is like a very powerful negotiation process between the Western countries like United States of America, and Joe Biden has a lot of negotiations, and probably not just him, but the States authorities with France, with United Kingdom, and so on. We see that the Western countries completely support Israeli with their carpet bombings of Gaza. We see that the Eastern countries, the Muslim countries, support Palestine. So basically we can say that currently there is a process, probably invisible process, probably unannounced process of creating of coalitions. Currently there are two coalitions. The first coalition is Israeli one that support Israeli, and there are countries like United States of America, there are countries like United Kingdom, France, Germany, and many other countries, the countries that support Israeli and that think that the main goal and the main thing that Israeli army should make is to destroy terrorists and to destroy Hamas as a entity. The second coalition involves such countries like Russia, Moscow, China, with Xi, and of course Iran, and of course Jordan, most of the Muslim countries. Obviously Turkey will join this coalition, and the main goal of this coalition is to force Western countries to recognize Gaza as a separate authority, as a separate country, as a separate power, and to force Israel to provide independence for this region. So two coalitions. The question how these coalitions are going to solve the conflict, how they're going to force Israel to stop carpet bombings, how they're going to force Gaza to stop all these terrorist attacks. A very difficult question. The only thing we see that a lot of Muslim leaders are going to Moscow, obviously, to discuss the situation in Israel and Gaza, but the most important question, the Muslim countries like Palestine, like Lebanon, try to get one obligation from Russia, that if bad things is going to happen, the Russians will provide them the weapon, the only weapon that can fight and that can counter-fight the Western weapon, Russian missiles and so on. Obviously, they got some obligations from the president of Russian Federation, Putin, because after conversations with the leaders of Muslim countries, Putin told us that the only possible solution to solve the Gaza problem is the recognizing and liberation and independence of Gaza and Palestine country and so on. Very interesting situation that escalates every single day, so we'll see what is going to be next. And that's it for this video. Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.